Why Indianapolis is the opposite of every other major city in the US. Most major cities follow the same playbook, but Indianapolis breaks that pattern with top-ranked suburbs, spread-out economy, and even the roundabout capital of the US sitting just outside the city. In this video, I'm breaking down why Indianapolis is the opposite of every other major city in the US. I've been in this market for 5 years, and I've seen how reading Indy, like every other metro, can make buyers miss the best opportunities here. Most major cities are defined by their downtown. Indy is defined by its suburbs. When someone wants to move here, they ask where the best place to live is. And most of the time, people point about 20 miles north, not downtown, because that's where you find the suburbs that are sitting at the top of the national rankings. That's Indianapolis. And once you get that, the rest of the metro is easier to read because it works a little differently than what people expect in a major city. In most cities, downtown is the thing. That's where the big buildings are. That's where the name brand addresses are. That's where people assume the whole energy is. So the suburbs are built around that. People live there, drive into the city for work, and the whole metro sort of points back towards downtown. But Indianapolis doesn't work that way. US News and World Report just came out with their 2026 to 2027 best places to live rankings, and 3 Indianapolis suburbs showed up near the top. Carmel ranked #1 in the whole country. Fishers ranked #2, and Noblesville came in at #18 after being #50 the year before. I mean, that's wild. And for buyers who are looking at Indianapolis from another state, that changes how they should be thinking about their search. You can see the same thing in the housing market. The highest prices in the metro are in Hamilton County, which includes places like Fishers, Noblesville, Carmel, Westfield, along with Zionsville, which is just across the county line in Boone County. So when people say the north side is expensive, this is the area they usually mean. Median home values are well in the mid to high 400s, which is roughly double than what you see in the urban core county. The money has been moving north for a long time. So when buyers start comparing neighborhoods, schools, resale, long-term value, the north side comes up fast. And with Carmel, one reason people keep choosing it is the commute. It was built different than a lot of other cities, and I'll show you that in a bit. Now, people who live in Indianapolis proper are going to fight me on this a little bit, and I get it. Meridian Kessler, Broad Ripple, Butler Tarkington, those are beautiful neighborhoods. They have charm, they have history. That's older Indianapolis character people love. And the city itself is getting better in a lot of ways. But when someone is relocating here from out of state and they say they're moving to Indianapolis for the schools and for the lifestyle, I would say most of the time, whether they know it yet or not, they're talking about Northside suburbs. I moved to Indy from LA, so I always think about the Burbank thing. If you live in Burbank and somebody asks you where you're from, you say LA, right? Everybody kind of knows what you mean. It's the same thing here. People say they're moving to Indianapolis, but a lot of times they're moving to Carmel or Fishers or Noblesville. And listen, those are great places to live. That's the point. The center of gravity here doesn't sit in the middle of downtown the way a lot of other cities do. So if you start your search downtown and work your way out, you may be looking at the city a little bit backwards. That same pattern shows up in the economy. Now, if you're watching this from out of state and you're trying to figure out which suburb fits your life, that's where my team can help. We work with relocating buyers all the time. So we help you compare the schools, price points, commutes, and the small town-to-town differences that are hard to tell online. My contact info is in the description. Reach out and we'll help you narrow it down. Okay, back to the video. Most cities grew around one big industry. Indy didn't. If Indianapolis isn't built around downtown the same way other cities are, the economy explains a lot of that too. Most major cities have one thing people connect them with right away. Houston is energy, Detroit is cars, San Francisco has tech. You name the city, you can name the industry, and everybody knows what you mean. But that can become a risk because when that one industry has a bad decade, the whole city has to deal with it. Indianapolis never made that kind of bet. The economy here is spread across several big pieces, and I think people miss that sometimes, even the people who live here. The biggest one is life sciences and pharma. With Eli Lilly headquartered right downtown, Lilly is one of the metro's largest employers, and they've been expanding, putting billions into new manufacturing campuses. But it goes beyond Lilly. Logistics is a big part too, because we're sitting in the middle of the country. FedEx has a major air freight hub at the Indianapolis airport. Amazon has several major fulfillment spaces here, and about half the country's population is in 1 day's drive from Indy. And in a little bit, I'll show you why that steady job base is part of the reason Indy can stay affordable without feeling like it's falling behind. Now, we've also got strong healthcare in Indy with IU Health, Riley's Children's Hospital, Ascension St. Vincent, and a new downtown hospital campus that's being built right now. Then you add advanced manufacturing, a growing tech presence, and a few Fortune 500 headquarters right here in Indy. On top of that, we're a sports city. We have the Colts, Pacers, Fever, and so many other teams coming to Indianapolis. And racing is a way of life in Indy. With the Indy 500, which is the largest single-day sporting event in the world, we also have the Brickyard 400 and everything that comes with the Speedway. Indianapolis is also vying to be the women's sports capital of the world by 2050. So sports is a way of life here. Then you have conventions bringing people to the city all year long, which means more hotel rooms, restaurants, flights, event jobs, and money coming in again and again. Indianapolis was also named number 3 best sports business city in the country, and tourism bringing in billions of dollars a year. That's why sports and conventions are a real part of the economy here. So when people ask why the housing market here has stayed steady, this is all part of the reason. There isn't one employer or one industry that can have a bad quarter and drag the whole region down with it. Demand comes from different places, which gives the market a stronger base. And because the economy is spread out, the city itself is spread out too. Most cities let their infrastructure fall apart. Indy obsesses over it. The way Indy is built tells you a lot about how people live here. In a lot of major cities, infrastructure is one of those things that people just deal with. Bad intersections, long lights, roads that weren't designed for how people live now, traffic that turns a normal errand into a whole event. But if we look specifically at Carmel, the city took a different approach. It has more roundabouts than any other city in the United States. There are currently 160 of them, with 6 more in the works. And they've taken out almost all of their traffic lights in the process. This city is even known as the roundabout capital of the US. What we see today started back in the 90s, when Carmel made a clear plan to build this kind of infrastructure. They weren't fixing one bad intersection at a time. They changed the way traffic moves across the whole city. And they're still building new roundabouts. And that's the biggest reason you don't see the same kind of accident issues here that you see in other cities. A study on Carmel's intersections found that injury crashes dropped. And in some common intersection types, they dropped close to 80%. That means fewer serious crashes and less stress built into daily driving. I always think of this as a Californian. We all know the Californian stop, where you kind of just roll past the stop sign, pretend you didn't. Roundabouts are sort of the same idea, except it's legal, designed on purpose, and everybody's following the same pattern. You're not sitting at a red light every few blocks. You're not waiting for the left turn arrow to cycle again. You just keep moving. And after a while, regular intersections actually feel very old-fashioned. Besides, if your car isn't stopping and starting all the time, you idle less. You use your brakes less. Your drive is smoother. That sounds small, but over years of school drop-offs and errands and commuting, it all adds up. And details like this tell you a lot about the future of Indy. In a little bit, I'll show you why the opportunity here is spread across the metro, not packed into one downtown core. Now, I do want to be fair. The roundabout thing is very Carmel. Roads inside Indianapolis city proper can be mixed, and there are areas where the streets are rougher. But across the metro, the bigger version of that same idea is called I-465. Indianapolis is called the Circle City for a reason, not only because of the massive roundabout downtown in the center of the city, but also because 465 runs a loop around the city and connects all the different parts of the metro. So you're not always forced into one main route. You can get from one area to another without all kinds of bottleneck that you deal with in places like LA or Houston and Atlanta. In daily life, that means you can go from your neighborhood coffee shop, head over to the Monon Trail, then drive to the Palladium, and you're not spending the whole day fighting the roads. No city is perfect, but planning here makes regular life a little bit easier in a way people may not think about or ask about before they move. That's why people still wonder why Indy is priced lower than most cities. Most cities are expensive. Indy stays affordable and keeps climbing. A lot of cities hit those best places to live lists, and then the prices take off. The attention comes in, buyers start looking, and within a few years, the city gets harder for normal people to afford. You saw it happen in places like Austin, Nashville, Denver, Boise. Those markets got hot really fast. And then buyers had to decide if the lifestyle was still worth the price. But Indianapolis has been different. The attention has been building here for years. The prices have gone up, for sure, but they still haven't caught up with what this market offers. Zillow named Indianapolis the #1 most buyer-friendly major market in the country in 2026, out of the 50 largest metros in the US. They called affordable Midwest metros like this some of the best places for buyers to find breathing room right now. The National Association of Realtors also named Indianapolis one of their top 10 home buying hotspots for 2026. So this just isn't one list saying Indy looks good. The larger housing groups are pointing in the same direction. The Indianapolis metro median is still well below the national average. And even Hamilton County, where many relocating buyers end up, is still priced below other ranking markets on the coast and in the Sun Belt. For someone moving their family here, central Indiana has been a pretty insulated market. We don't have huge run-ups in the same way other cities have, and we don't get those painful drops the same way either. When places like Austin and Phoenix were shooting up in 2020, 2021, 2022, Indy prices climbed too, but from a lower starting point and at a steadier pace. When those overheated markets started correcting, Indianapolis kept climbing in that low single-digit kind of way. It never had that giant spike, so it didn't have the same fall. The COVID years are a good example of this. When buyers moved in and pushed prices up, they weren't creating some kind of crazy bubble. They were paying closer to what the market should have been worth. Before COVID, central Indiana housing was underpriced for what it had. Strong suburbs, good schools, a solid job base, growing demand, and prices that just haven't caught up yet. Then the market corrected upward, and since then, prices have kept climbing without major pullback. I can say this with confidence, a good Northside suburb purchase is very likely to hold its value. You have years of steady appreciation, a job base that isn't leaning on one industry, and not enough quality homes for the number of people who want to be in these areas. Right now, the market is more balanced than it has been over the past couple years. Buyers have a little more room to breathe, and not every house turns into a bidding war. But good homes in Hamilton County still move when they're priced right. I wouldn't sit around waiting for some huge price crash here. That's not how the market has worked. It stayed steady, and the steadiness is one of the reasons people keep choosing it. What this means for the future. The future of Indianapolis makes more sense when you look at how the metro was built. The center of gravity is in the northern suburbs. The economy is spread across several industries. The roads and infrastructure were planned with daily life in mind. And even with all the attention Indy is getting, prices are still lower than you'd expect for what people are getting. That's been the pattern here for a long time. Back in 1970, Indianapolis went through something called Unigov. It merged the city with Marion County, which expanded in a huge way the city's footprint overnight. But the suburbs north of the city, places like Carmel, Fishers, Westfield, and Noblesville, all stayed independent. That gave those suburbs room to build their way. They built their own roads over time, also their schools, parks, downtown areas, and amenities. Families and professionals kept moving towards those places because they offered stability, good schools, and an easier daily life. And because the metro had room to grow, value didn't all pile up in one downtown core. It spread out, it moved north, and it created this ring of suburbs that each has their own identity. That's why Indianapolis doesn't have one neighborhood that carries the whole premium of the metro. There's no Manhattan here, there's no Buckhead, there's no River Oaks. Buyers aren't forced into one obvious area if they want good schools, nice homes, and better resale value. Instead, you have different communities where people can choose the version of the lifestyle that fits them best. I wouldn't call Indy some hidden little market anymore because people know about it. The growth is still happening and there's a solid base under it. So if you're looking at Indianapolis from out of state, I wouldn't start the way you might in other cities. Don't just start downtown and work your way out. Start with the kind of life you want. The schools, the commute, the yard, the downtown, the age of the home, the neighborhood characteristics. Then don't look for one big city that has everything you want. here, it's more about finding the suburb or the community that fits you best. Indianapolis doesn't work like most major cities, and that's what makes it interesting. You can still find space, access, strong suburbs, and a real quality of life here without paying the kind of prices you'd see in a lot of bigger markets. If you're relocating and trying to find out which community actually fits your life, email me at colleen@maverickgroupindy.com today. My team and I can compare all the areas, the price points, the commute, and the day-to-day details that are hard to see online. And if you want more help figuring out Indianapolis, the suburbs, the neighborhoods, and what's changing, subscribe and hit the bell. We post here regularly, and one of the next videos may be exactly what you need. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.